Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So Elon Musk recently spoke with the Hack Club and had an amazing opportunity for some young people to ask some really cool questions. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of those responses from Elon Musk, add a few comments where I think it's relevant. I really enjoyed this interview. It was so cool to see these young guys get the chance to ask the questions. The quality of their questions were fantastic. So without further ado, let's dive in. Hey guys, before I forget, WeBull have extended their offer for US residents. If you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, use the link in the description. Alright, let's get back to it. Here's Elon Musk talking about some of his hacking escapades when he was younger.
I mean, probably I can't tell, all the things that I did because that'd probably get me in trouble. But I think some of them I'd be locked up for, I don't know.
Can you guys believe what you've just heard? Elon Musk has effectively said that if he was to reveal some of the hacking that he had done in his youth, someone would end up locked up in jail. And I think he actually caught himself by realizing that if he was to reveal how long that term would be, I think he was thinking about saying how many years, probably better not to do that. So let's watch that clip again. It was hilarious.
I mean, probably I can't tell, all the things that I did because that'd probably get me in trouble. But I think some of them I'd be locked up for, I don't know. And like hack usually means breaking into stuff, which is kind of, within reasonable bounds. I think, kind of fun. You want to be a little bit of a pirate, it's, you don't want to listen to all the rules, please. Especially your kids. I mean, don't listen to the rules, please. Like you can get, I think kids can get away with a lot more. I would say break the rules. Yeah.
I absolutely, completely, 100% agree with Elon on this. When you're young, it's the time to experiment, to take risks, to push the limits, to test what they are, to go a little bit beyond the boundaries, to make mistakes, to fall, to fail, to get up, dust yourself off, learn and grow. Experiment, take chances. Of course, don't do anything too stupid, but hey, you're only a minor once.
This is what we're doing right now is a good example of what I think the future of media should be, which is basically citizen journalism. Citizen media, like you basically. It's there's the thing to appreciate about the so-called mainstream media is that there's a feedback mechanism around advertising and clicks, which is not healthy. It's hard to sort of blame the individuals in the system. It's like the system is messed up. And so if you're a journalist and you don't write the inflammatory article that gets tons of clicks, then you might lose your job. The same goes for the editor and whatnot. And so this is just a tough situation. It's kind of a no-win situation, to be totally frank. I'm very much sort of anti-advertising. Tesla's never advertised. Even in 2008, when we were almost dying, I was like, I could not bring myself to advertise. I would just rather put the money into making the car better and let word of mouth, just sell a car through word of mouth, basically. So I just think there's something broken with the moral structure of advertising, to be totally frank. It's messed up. That's I think the root of the problem, and then the answer I think is citizen journalism that we're doing right now, because you ask way better questions, frankly, than the mainstream media. It's a hard truth.
I'm in complete agreement with those, and I think that if you actually look at the behavior of Elon Musk, you'll see that he's walking the walk. He's not just talking the talk. He shunned analysts on an earnings call about a year ago and took a ton of questions from the internet because they're much better quality. A lot of controversy around that, but it was a great move. They were much better questions. We got more insights as investors, retail investors. He's been doing appearances on niche podcasts and very small and insignificant sort of media appearances like this with the Hack Club. A bunch of teenagers effectively are interviewing Elon Musk. Why isn't he spending that same time on the Jimmy Fallon show or, CNBC or something like that? The reason is Elon doesn't care about that crap. He understands the mainstream media is the incentives just don't make sense. The depth of understanding of people on a panel on CNBC is very, very shallow on specific companies because their job isn't to be an expert. They're not a ridiculously passionate retail investor in Tesla or a total fanboy or like a mad hacker who looks up to Elon and the fact that he coded this game and sold it when he was a kid. You're going to get much more valuable, insightful and interesting conversations happening by people who are really passionate and interested in the subject matter. And this is why YouTube, look at this right now. This audience probably probably would be the similar size to a local news station in a small town or city anywhere on Earth right now. And the fact that I'm able to talk at length and in depth about Elon Musk, insights around Tesla, SpaceX, etc., and you're watching and you're interested, the reason that can happen is because we've got the internet now. My audience isn't this tiny little, I don't need to cater to like the lowest common denominator, okay? I don't need to attract the eyeballs of everybody with the most clickbaity, ridiculous, dramatic headlines and stories, because you, by your very interest in this subject matter, are drawn to this content. I don't need to do anything to get you to come here. You're interested in the subject, so I can give you the most genuine, valuable insights I possibly can without any horse shit. The incentive structure is right. I just share what I think, what I know, what I'm interested in. That's it, because you will find the content. The mainstream media, basically their advertisers have got them bent over, tied up, and I won't go into any more details, but they're not really in control of this situation. They're at the whims of what the advertisers want and need. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Another great question. Man, you guys have like better questions than all mainstream media combined. It's crazy.
As we were saying moments ago, another great quality question. Elon, in fact, has complimented the guy who asked this. I'm sure that made his day, week, month, year, or even his decade. Elon now, like in the early days of Tesla, SpaceX, he was doing some mainstream media appearances. It was good to build up the profile. At a point now where he can be really selective and specific about where he spends his time media-wise. And this may not be the most effective return on investment from like a business point of view, but I really genuinely don't believe that Elon Musk is doing this to recruit talent to his companies. That may be a side effect, but really this is a great opportunity for him to have a big positive impact on these kids' lives. Like, imagine being able to ask Elon Musk a question when you're in high school. What an opportunity. And Elon, I think, is really coming from this at a place of impact. It's not numbers, it's not the biggest, the widest, but it's the most impactful thing. Just consider this. I mean, this whole interview was conducted by effectively a bunch of teenagers talking to CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, the guys meeting with presidents, world leaders, like titans of business and industry, and yet people sitting in their bedroom, in their parents' house in most cases, getting the opportunity to ask questions like this. What other CEO would do that? I mean, I think Elon is a really great person, and this is just a cool example of seeing that in play. The fact that he's chosen to spend his time doing this interview with these guys when he could have been doing anything else really says a lot about who he is and what drives him and what matters.
If I may sort of wax on for a bit, it'll probably get me into trouble, but whatever. You'd have to say, like, really you want to say, what is the system that will result in the most amount of good for the most amount of people? Like, what maximizes the area under the curve of population happiness? That's really what, I think we should be trying to achieve. And I think that almost by definition is capitalism, but we've got to fix capitalism in certain areas, like I said, with the rules around CO2 capacity of oceans and atmosphere. But mostly it works quite well. And it's hard to think of what a good alternative would be. Like often people say, well, the government should do it. But really, what is the government but a corporation in the limit? If you say, like, if you scale up a corporation and the government is just the biggest corporation and it has a monopoly. So is the government going to do the right thing when it is a monopolistic corporation? Unlikely. The government is essentially not the solution.
I think we all intuitively know this, right? It's not typically governments who are disrupting and innovating. That's coming from private sector, companies, entrepreneurs, inventors. And Tesla and SpaceX are two great examples of companies that are doing this. Tesla has almost single-handedly accelerated the world's transition to sustainable transport, right? This is a fact. Government didn't do that. There's been little incentives here and there, but if it wasn't for Tesla, we would not be where we are. That S-curve adoption will be pushed out further into the future. Don't know how long, but they have had a material and significant substantial impact that no government could have had. SpaceX, reusable rockets. I mean, what the fuck? How did they do this? Government couldn't do this. The United States space program couldn't do this. No space program anywhere on Earth has been able to develop reusable rockets. Private company SpaceX has done it. Proof's in the pudding.
And mostly because the bigger a corporation gets and the more monopolistic a corporation gets, the weaker the feedback loop is for serving the customers or the population. So if you have a weak feedback loop, then the responsiveness is not going to be good. The product will not be good. So like if you don't like what the government's doing, and how can you really complain? And what's your alternative? But if you have competition, then that keeps people on. That keeps entities honest. Like if two entities are competing to make you happy, then that's good. But if they don't have to compete to make you happy, that's bad.
Just a simple, logical statement. No competition, no good.
Move on because you're on a tight limit. So our final question today is going to come from
if you want. These questions are great. They're waiting for me over at the barrel welding tent, but I can spend a bit more time if you'd like.
This really speaks volumes to the character of Elon Musk. So just to give you guys some context, earlier in this interview, Elon had said, it's not in this particular clip, but it's in the full interview. Go watch it, link in the description. He actually said that he'd been up till about 3 a.m. or something last night in Boca Chica doing some welding with SpaceX related stuff, okay? He's had a late night. He's trying to solve colonizing Mars, like, one of the world's biggest problems. And obviously then there's Tesla as well, okay? The guy's like literally trying to change the future of humanity. And yet he's willing to push this interview. He ended up extending it and speaking for about twice as long as it'd been scheduled for, just because he was enjoying chatting to these kids and hopefully having a positive impact. I mean, what better example of the values and what drives this man as a person, as a human being, right, than this, summed up in a nutshell. Barely in his sleep last night, trying to solve enormously complicated problems, everyone waiting on him, and he's willing to do this, to just make a few kids' days. What an awesome dude.
People tend to self-limit and think that they shouldn't question someone who's an expert. Yeah. But this is definitely not the case. You should absolutely question experts in another arena. It shouldn't mean that you should, not say that you arbitrarily assume that you have a better opinion than an expert in an arena, but the thing that should drive the outcome is the fundamental reasoning, not who said it. So it should be best idea of reasoning when it's not the prominence or stature of the person who said it. It's very important to question authority of all kinds. Everyone is wrong some of the time.
Words to live by. In fact, questioning everything is in my DNA. I am a scientist by nature, I'm hyper-rational, and I really am the kind of guy that just throughout my life has questioned everything. Let me tell you something, it will not make you a lot of friends. But guess what? If you want to have a deep understanding and confidence in your beliefs and your knowledge, you do need to be willing to question. You can question somebody about their reasoning, get them to explain why they have drawn this conclusion and see, does it make sense or not? And if that's not enough, do your own homework, dig deep enough and form your own understanding. You really do need to be willing to question everything. Your beliefs, your values, your opinions, right? People don't understand, like the vast majority of beliefs that you have installed in your mind aren't yours. You borrowed them, you inherited them from somewhere else, whether it was your parents, your environment, society, the media. If you really go and audit, like, why do I believe this or think this or value this and dig deep enough? Where did this belief come from? Most of them aren't yours. And if you don't question along the way, you're going to be carrying along a ton of misinformation and misguided opinions, thoughts and beliefs or limitations. One of the reasons that Elon Musk has been so successful with companies is his first principles thinking. Go down to the atoms and work your way up from there. Whereas most people have a ton of assumptions that they're unwilling to question because they just, instead of going, okay, is this the way that things have to be done, or is this just the way that we do them now, and is there a different or better way, and just go all the way down to the atoms. People don't do this questioning and they don't get the same results. The fact that Elon, just his values wise, he will question everything, has led to him being able to innovate and disrupt and do things that other people don't do because he's asking better questions. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching these clips. Again, if you'd like to watch the full interview, there's a link in the description. Highly recommended. There's some awesome questions in there, and it's just fun to watch these guys and girls asking Elon questions in real time too. It's a cool experience. Guess we've got a little bit of perspective on some of Elon Musk's early hacking background, questioning authority and experts, his views on the media, government, and capitalism. So until the next one, I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. This channel has kind of blown up since it launched, and I'm working on making the best possible content for you guys, but it takes time. Consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can continue creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. And you can now also become a member of the channel to get some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.